Welcome back. Love Boat Project episode. Lordy, Lordy, look who's turning 40. Huh? With me, as always, my co host, Mike Robertson. Ahoy, Mike.
Seems like just a short time ago we were doing episode number 1, which didn't even make an hour. And now look at us.
Look at us.
40 episodes, probably 3 million hours of content.
So many hours of
at this
content.
point. Lucky you, listener.
Lucky you. We are here today to talk about the Love Boat Season 2, episode number 15. Gopher's Opportunity, Home Sweet Home, and The Switch. Great titles, right?
Yeah.
Original air date 1/20/1979. Okay. Interesting. Love Boat was moved to 8 p.m. this night.
Really? Is that why it was so milquetoast?
Well, milquetoast, that's a good one. Yeah, it definitely they weren't breaking any barriers with this episode.
No.
So why was it on at 8 p.m. rather? Because at 9, Mike, of course, they had to make room for the pilot movie for a series starring Andy Griffith and Joel Higgins. Huh?
Who the hell is Joel Higgins?
I don't know. I only know one Higgins, and he's really Robin Masters, so I don't even know if he's a real Higgins. The show's called Salvage.
Wait. Okay, go on.
You know this?
We may have talked about this.
Did
before. Well, keep going.
Salvage experts attempt to retrieve space equipment from the moon.
Nope, that is not what we
Is there something?
We talked about early on. There was a show about a salvage boat, and it was the stories of a salvage boat captain, and we thought that it was the first attempt at going after the boat with another boat. But it did not have anybody that I'd ever heard of, let alone Andy Griffith on the moon.
Yeah, that one kind of took me by surprise. So at 8 o'clock now we're shifting. So now we're going to see maybe a couple different shows, which I don't know, I'm kind of a geek. I got excited about that.
Sure.
CBS at 8 p.m. The White Shadow.
Oh,
I used to watch this a little. It was a little old for me, but I do remember that one of the players' names was Salami, I believe.
Salami, who, by the way, is the real life son of former Stubby nominee and one of your personal favorites, Dick Van Patten, the congressman himself.
You love Dick Van Patten.
Yeah,
you know how I feel about him.
Salami is Timothy Van Patten, I think. So
wow, interesting.
Full circle.
Wow, total full circle. Episode's called Just One of the Boys. Coach Reeves faces an explosive situation when a talented young transfer student joins the squad after being forced to change schools when rumors were spread that he is homosexual.
Wow.
Racy stuff at 8 p.m. on
Look at
CBS.
you, White Shadow. Going into the murky waters of social issues. Good for you.
Well, the interesting
that will not happen. That did not happen on the boat this week.
Doesn't happen on the boat. The strangest thing is that the talented young transfer was played by Brent Musburger.
Really?
No.
Okay.
No. I just every time I hear CBS, I think of Brent Musburger.
That makes sense. Yeah, you are looking live.
CBS. He was loved Brent Musburger. NBC at 8 o'clock. This is another big show. Chips, Pressure Point. Ponch and John go undercover to expose a protection racket preying on a wealthy old man and his granddaughter.
Why are two bicycle cops in charge of this undercover action?
Are they still motorcycle cops when they go undercover? Do they ride like civilian bikes?
Is this one of those things where it's like the chief of some other SWAT team is like, listen, my men, people know my men. All the criminals know him because those perps have gotten busted. We need you, Punch.
You need a favor, Punch. First of all, play me some of that smooth sax. Then, so this was a big night of television. A lot of things were shifted. One for the Salvage season 1, episode 1,
Obviously.
but really,
do you know how many episodes of Salvage we got?
we'll see. They counted tonight's episode as season 1, episode 1. So maybe they're going to be with the, what were they even called? The girls?
I was going to say, do you think they salvaged the American Girls plane?
Imagine it's the same show. They just gave it a different name.
Andy
We're
Griffith.
on the moon.
Yeah, it's Andy Griffith and Nurse Terry.
And don't forget Joel Higgins.
Oh, right.
America's favorite. Like, all of this pales in comparison to the television spectacular that was on at 9 p.m. It's Super Bowl season, Mike.
I was wondering when I saw the date, I was wondering if it was too early or not, but Super Bowl season is upon us. Are we getting another spectacular like we did last season?
We sure are.
Yeah.
Even better this year. Super Bowl Saturday night. I'll wait for the host. Guest starring Johnny Carson, Dean Martin, Telly Savalas, Elliot Gould. That seems a little weird. Howard Cosell.
Elliot Gould was a big deal back then. That's not weird. That's a big get.
Fair enough. And Bob Hope. Some heavy hitters there.
Wow, that's high cotton there. Last year was like Mini Pearl.
Yeah, it was not. Yeah. Okay, and the host, when you think comedy, you think O.J. Simpson, don't you?
Oh, Norberg, no.
O.J. Simpson hosts a comedy salute to Super Bowl 13. Oh no!
My God.
2 hours of the juice.
I kind of want to watch. I do kind of want to watch
dude.
that. That was a good Super Bowl too. That was Steelers Cowboys, I believe.
Yes, it was. Final score was 35-31.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one they always show the replay of.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty famous one. Now I definitely want to put that one on the Patreon list.
It's on the Patreon.
Yeah. So.
Super Bowl Saturday night.
1979.
74 million viewers of the Super Bowl.
Wow.
That's insane. Quick little thing about the Super Bowl. So after the game, Terry Bradshaw mocked Dallas linebacker Thomas Henderson's previous insult about him not being able to spell the word cat, saying, ask him if he can spell MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Pew, 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 Terry.
Yeah. Good for you, Terry Bradshaw.
Good for you. Good for you. Before we get into guest stars, I had to pull up the IMDb synopsis. I've been avoiding IMDb because I feel like the ratings when I'm doing the notes sort of like
you fell into that trap even though you know for a fact they don't mean anything.
No, I know. It just I don't want to. I got to go in clean slate. Synopsis this week: Gopher's friend Phil offers him a job managing his hotel.
Straightforward.
Gopher's friend and asshole Phil offers. Good
Phil
Lord,
Phil was
that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I'll wait.
Yeah,
but yeah,
he was aggressively.
Yeah.
Magician Ken's assistant Maggie is upset when he sends his brother Al to replace him in the act.
These are very accurate synopsis descriptions so far.
Hashtag pinpoint. Hetty moves into a ship's cabin to get closer to Porter Charlie. No. She didn't move in to get closer to Charlie.
That is underselling.
Yeah, that is not.
This was a relatively harmless and forgettable episode, and there is one part of this plot that we will spend 6 hours talking about. I have done research.
Okay.
I am still flummoxed by it. So
I got stuck on the financial part of it, just trying to figure that out and like how it would.
I got stuck on the logistics of it.
Playing like customs. Are there live at I don't want to get too far ahead of myself.
My note for that section when we get to it is just like talk about this.
So once again, the synopsis in the third story is just that's not she didn't get on the boat to pursue Charlie.
Uh, maybe.
She planned on getting that boat for 5 years. There's no way.
Well, I mean,
You know what?
she could have done
Maybe.
she could have done some prep work there before she
Right?
moved
Brought
in.
everything she owned. I mean, all right, but we'll get to it. Okay. Fair enough. I see what you're saying. Open to interpretation.
Yes. A lot of gray area.
A lot of gray area. Guest stars this week. Let's get to these guys. First, we have Michael Gregory as Ken Breyer. Small part, tall man. Still in a closet somewhere in the Pacific Ocean.
That guy was in there for a minute, and he came in hot, and he left hot. Like
it's called one take Michael Gregory. That's what he is. I show up. I'm on set for.
You got me for an hour spelling. Let's go.
That's including makeup. You know,
which I
and
bring
extensive
myself.
chest hair treatments. Good Lord. He was a character actor, tons of movies, TV shows, commercials. He's just one of those.
Yeah.
We always see those guys. Checking in next is Elaine Joyce as Melody Livingston. I've seen her a million times in a bunch of different TV shows, never in like a big role.
Okay. So you don't know this then?
No.
So I watched the episode.
Yeah.
And she's not sticking out to me.
Right.
And at one point, now I've changed my tune on this, but at one point I thought, oh man, her and Horseshack's girlfriend really not bringing the heat on the acting, especially early on.
I was thinking the same thing.
I softened on that a little bit as I watch it the second time. But so I go through just to kind of get a sense of everybody. And as I do, I always like to see if they're on the boat again.
Sure.
And I see that that old Melody was on season 1. And I'm like, well, that's weird, but she's not a big star. Was it one of those weird, like, small
like a Joanna
roles
Kearns type of thing?
Yeah, or sometimes IMDb credits them when they're not and all that stuff.
I'm trying to...
This is going to blow your mind because it blew my mind. That is the same woman who played Stubby nominee Dawn Delaney.
That's Dawn Delaney?
That's Dawn Delaney. I was floored. And you know what? The second time I watched it, knowing it's her, I still don't see it.
I don't.
It's unbelievable.
How does she look so different?
I guess she's wearing a wig, maybe, or she lost. But the thing is, and I'm not going heavy on the timeline continuity.
No, I get that.
But this felt like they taped it at the end of season 1, early season 2, which means she had just been on. That was like episode 21 last season for that.
She made an impression on somebody. I mean, quick turnaround.
She was great as Dawn Delaney. She's fine here. There's not a lot to do, but I could
she was
not.
Great. Yeah, as Dawn Delaney, she was great.
And that's the second time that's happened this season now, because the lady who sang with Leslie Nielsen ended up being Melissa Gilbert's mom this season, and same exact thing, and I didn't know it. And I will give them credit for this. They're at least in some cases, and this might be the actor, this might be the director, it might be a coincidence, but they're at least in some ways changing up how they look, how they're acting. So it does feel like a different person. And I appreciate that. But I was stunned.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I got to go back and see it now.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that's odd. Yeah, it's funny because I did think the same thing about both the Maggie Walsh and Melody in the beginning. I was just like, oh boy.
Yeah, here we go again. Yeah.
Speaking of Maggie Walsh, she's played by Melinda Naud, known for her roles on Happy Days, Operation Petticoat, and Black Sheep Squadron.
Obviously.
Duh. All you sheepheads out there.
I want to be on Black Sheep Squadron Project if anybody has a guest spot. So.
It's a slow moving episode too. Each one is very slow. It's a couple older gentlemen. Ron Palillo. This I just can't even take. I can't take Arnold Horseshack. as anything other than Arnold Horshack. I'm trying, but
Oh,
he
see,
was
now
good.
that's interesting. I thought he did a great job with this.
It's just his face. It's not even his
No, I
acting.
mean,
It's just the.
listen, it's
I
it's
thought he was fine. It was
it's
just.
Horshack. Obviously, it's
It's
Horshack.
just fun. It was funny. Like when he got on the boat, it was just. I giggled a little because I was like, oh, 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 I just,
This is
like,
we talk about it all the time, and it doesn't come up as often as maybe I thought
right.
it would, but it came up with Juan Epstein himself, right? It's
Yeah,
like
that's tough.
he's trying. I mean, that you can't get more
Yeah.
different than suave magician, you know,
Suave a magician, Al. I
the
don't
great.
I don't like ice cream, Briar, the great Briar.
True.
Welcome Back, Cotter again was on from 75 to 79.
So
That's a nice.
he's making post Cotter plans here.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Bobby Van as Phil Short Fuse Livingston. Good Lord. Musical actor and dancer. He's known for his career on Broadway. He just angry dances.
I Bobby Van was a name,
Yeah,
but then
he
I
was
looked
a
him up
name.
and I don't know that I know him from anything.
Mm-mm.
And
It's a
he seems
great
like he was a
name.
big Broadway guy in the early 70s, which missed me, obviously.
Yeah. What are you
He
doing?
passed he passed away like a year after this.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Mm.
he had like a brain tumor or something.
Oh, geez.
Young
Sorry to hear that,
man.
Bobby Van.
But I thought he was more of a singer, and I guess he was, but more of a
That's what I thought. Yeah.
I thought he was like Fabian or one of those guys. Regardless, I didn't think he was a particularly good actor,
No,
which is why
no,
I was
no.
then surprised that he was a Tony nominee. But
I thought it was odd to have someone with sorry, Bobby Van, that was in a role like that with just no acting chops at all.
I also think, and I hadn't thought about it till just now, I think he's significantly older than Gopher
Oh, yeah, I think
for
so.
them to have gone to business school together.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a stretch. You
Yeah.
could just tell he was
Yeah.
because they
And at
play
one
Gopher
point I thought he
young.
was doing
Yeah.
like a bad Cary Grant. It kinda came and went, but at the beginning,
Ugh.
it's like, "Gopher, my bad. I told you he was the guy for us." It was just a lot of that.
It's a little weird. I think he didn't
Yeah.
know what to do, so he just went. He did something,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm not a Bobby Van. Probably not a Stubby nominee this year. Just going to go on a limb.
No, I think that's safe to say. Although we probably should have a category for worst musician on the
Worst
show.
musician that is on
Ever
the show
since
but
I
doesn't
said we
sing.
need more musicians, it's just been a parade of
It
losers.
it really had. None of them can act.
Nope.
Next, Abe Vigoda, one of my favorites, plays Charlie Fletcher. Played Salvatore Tessio in The Godfather, Phil Fish and Barney Miller, 75 to 77, and in Fish, 77 to 78. Fun fact, on October 31st, 2013, I, as well as Abe Vigoda, was in Atlantic City, New Jersey at a Fish show where Abe Vigoda went on stage dressed in a wombat outfit, like a mascot thing. Abe Vigoda is one of the lines in the song, and at the end of the song, he took, I swear, he took I didn't know he took the thing off his head, and it was Abe Vigoda. The whole place like lost their mind. I still get goosebumps. I was like, you got to be kidding. It's crazy,
Wow.
crazy.
Wow. Who knew you were in the same room as Charlie Fletcher, 32-year-old porter or
Yeah,
steward?
barely breathing Charlie Fletcher. Yeah, he
I
was.
will say
Yeah,
Abe brings the same energy to every role.
it's
So
consistent. See, that's the thing too. So, as you know, it's funny as I was watching this, and I was watching him specifically at that low energy style. Was I wrong for jumping on for his low energy? Or is that his style?
no, that's his style, right? Or you say Norman Fell?
Norman Fell. Like,
No,
am I wrong? Was
no.
that his style or no?
Well, no, because I didn't think he was that way in Three's Company, and also this fit the role.
It did. It did.
It did
Absolutely.
not fit the role of Julie's father in that episode.
No. No.
So no, there is no. The only way we're ever going to let Norman fall off the hook is if there's another important cast related role that is worse. I think that's the only way we ever let him off the hook.
That's fair.
So, and I
That's
hate
fair.
that, but he is the big loser of season 2, which is disappointing.
I
So
feel like it's speaking of award titles,
yeah,
don't get that award.
nope.
It's not every season. You hope you never even hear that award.
Norman Fell Award for biggest disappointment of season 2.
Biggest disappointment of season 2. It's funny, in season 3 it would still be Norman Fell.
Yep. We're still disappointed. It just carries over.
Nancy Walker as Hetty Waterhouse from Philadelphia, Mike.
Yes.
Yay. She had a 5-decade-long career. She appeared on Mary Tyler Moore, Rhoda, and growing up, we knew her as Rosie in a series of commercials for Bounty paper towels, and their slogan was "The quicker picker upper."
Yep.
She was everywhere.
Yeah. No, it is funny because I think growing up, I think eventually I knew she was in TV shows, but she was always just the paper towel lady.
All day.
Yeah. Oh, constantly.
Just,
yeah.
she was
It's
working
funny
at a
that we
diner.
had the Polydent lady last week.
Yeah, Martha Ray.
Martha Ray. So trying to think we're gonna have where's the beef woman?
Sandy Duncan's gonna be back next week for Wheat Thins.
We had Pearl Bailey. We had Annette Funicello. Like every kid commercial.
Famous Amos. Famous Amos will be on next week. Mr. Bubble Yum will be here next week. Anything to go over before we step on this boat, Mike?
So I kind of mentioned it. The episode timeline thing. We're kind of in that mishmash of late season 1, early season 2. So we kind of get a bastardized version of the portal. Everybody does a screen look to camera except for Abe Vigoda and Nancy Walker, which either they weren't around for that or they didn't care for it. Whatever. Horshack does a 360 into the camera, and Bobby Van does a bit of a kind of a double take. Like, so everybody's having a good time.
It's funny in that portal. The thing that stood out to me is like Vigoda looked like literally he was seconds away from falling asleep. Like it was like, Abe. That's a hell of a shtick, man. Low energy.
They did not even try to get him to look into the camera for a whimsical
no he's got no whimsy.
I don't even know if he knew he was on this show.
Like, if he did, he didn't care.
No.
He was just
sorry, Sally.
Love him though. He's great. All right. Well, let's get on the boat. We see Gopher asking Julie if his old friend Phil and his wife Melody have arrived yet. A little background there, as you said before, sir. Gopher graduated from hotel management school with him. His friend just bought a hotel in Arizona. / he's a millionaire. There's a little.
So, like, did Burl finish last in the class?
I don't. How do you go from that? It's funny. Okay, it's funny you say this, right? Because I think this is a good time to talk about this as well. Gopher is a purser, right? Assistant purser.
Assistant purser.
So it's funny because the Bob Crane purser and the Abe Vigoda.
Well, they're not pursers. They're stewards.
Charlie's not a purser?
Charlie's a steward.
What's the difference between a steward and a purser?
A steward is what Bob Crane was and what Charlie is. And they wear those white jackets with the long black ties. And they are more...
Like a butler?
I kinda, because remember Bob Crane was like unpacking the suitcase and stuff like that. Whereas
his guy's bringing drinks and stuff to people from different people here, different people.
I think it's the ironic part is I think they're gophers for the passengers, whereas a purser, as we've talked about, is some connection with money. He runs the safe,
right?
Although we've only seen it the one time, well, twice, I guess. He ran the safe and he ran the petty cash box. So.
He's not. Is it a concierge almost, but not?
Well, the other problem is too, right? Everybody's doing 40 jobs here.
Right. Like, it's hard to understand because that's the jacket thing threw me because I was like,
no,
what is his real job?
Purser and steward are not the same role. Now that said, we have seen Gopher serve in that role,
Right.
mainly when they don't have a guest star. That's the
Right. I
first
guess starting
or
a
a
Pagoda.
court.
Right.
Exactly. It's confusing, and the problem is the Bob Crane portrayal of the steward and the Ava Goda
Couldn't be more different.
portrayal could be more different. So my guess is the third steward that we have will actually be the answer.
It'd be nice. That's the proper litmus. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But again, it's a good point. They graduate from the same school. Phil's a millionaire. Gopher's looking at a safe once every 2.5 seasons.
It kind of comes up a lot in the episode, but
Yeah.
it's like Gopher really likes his job, but it never feels like it's a career, right? It always feels like it's a job. Everybody else feels like they have a career. Even
Yeah, his
Isaac.
doesn't feel like a career.
No.
His does not.
And it's so
undefined that you're like, well, what?
It seems to be at the whimsy of the captain. Like,
Yeah, like he's formed like his own little, like his little cult on the boat where everyone feels like it's a family. It gets, you know what I mean? It gets a little.
It's a little.
There's a little weirdness in this episode.
Yeah.
Steubing, you see Steubing, he's upset with Gopher over his recent suggestions. I wonder if this will be a running theme. Gopher's most recent suggestion was having a non-smoking section on the top deck of the ship.
This is a good suggestion.
It's a great suggestion.
He invented non-smoking sections. Why is that so poo-pooed?
Because 1979, Steubing's like, oh, hell no. Not on my watch. We're not going to have some liberal boat. People not smoking. Are you kidding?
The woke boat. Get out of here.
Get out of here. I'm not doing that. We issue you cigarettes as soon as you get on this boat.
We saw Doc with like a fistful of them.
Right, with the machine to come on.
Hey, he was fudding it. Yeah.
He's like, look, everybody's smoking on this boat, so everyone's guilty, which it was funny. Enter Phil and Melody. And they said they have this surprise to spring on him at dinner. Ooh.
What will it be?
What could that be? So that's fun. We welcome to the ship Maggie Walsh, magician's assistant.
That's what you put in your tax form.
Yeah, I couldn't resist. Number one note, not a good actress, Mike. Not a good actress. First, not good.
Yeah. Melissa Naw, the good actress.
Oh, not good. She did get better. I'll say that.
No, she did.
She did get better, but this first impression was not good.
To the point where I was like, was that a choice? Because it was a weird choice if it was, but she was dramatically better in the second half of the episode.
Absolutely. Mr. Breyer and Maggie have adjoining cabins. Again, when I say Mr. Breyer, we're talking about Ken, right? Who is supposed to be on this ship.
And they were romantically
tangled,
yeah,
intertwined.
Yes, thank you.
And they have adjoining cabins, which red flag. We know all sorts of shenanigans.
Last week we saw the problem.
That's what I said. I said Boulder just walked right into Martha Ray's door. Hello, hello. Time for a little scare. Yeah. Enter Al Breyer. Ken Breyer, his brother had an emergency and couldn't make it. The emergency was a girl in Vegas. Whoa, hey. Al introduces, takes off his hat, and there's a bird.
Great.
Julie was amazed. I was not amazed. I wasn't amazed.
Doc was very interested in the magician's assistant, and Julie kind of is like, oh, she's hot for the magician, and he's like, maybe I'll make her disappear or him disappear, and then he does a take into the camera, which we haven't seen all season. I had to go back and make sure that we got that eye contact, but we did. So that's all he really does this episode. So
that's it. He's just he's not involved at all, really.
No.
That's funny. You would think the Doc might jump in the pool if someone's drowning, though. But we'll get to that. It's nice to see 30 people standing around to watch someone potentially die at the bottom of a pool.
So many questions about that scene, including
is he out of air? Are there bubble?
We're standing around.
Just go get him. How deep could the pool be? It's not 40 feet deep.
I mean, she dove in.
She dove in. I have things to say. We'll get to that though. We see furniture being loaded onto the ship. All sorts of furniture. Here we go. Stewing says to Julie that Mrs. Waterhouse is redecorating the ship. She sold her house and she booked passage on the ship for the next 5 years. First thing I write down, how much would that cost? If each cruise is $35, like how many in a year?
So thanks to the good people at cruisehive.com.
Oh, thank you.
So in 1979, I don't know that this was as much of a thing. You would literally just have to constantly book cruises. It does seem like there are some cruise ships now that are intended for you to go on for a while, but I don't think it's like considered your residency. It's just that you're going on a lot of consecutive trips. It's kind of like
timeshare, right?
It's like John Candy in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, right? He didn't have a home. He just kept going from hotel to hotel. He didn't live in the hotel. He lived in a bunch of hotels.
So you could have said spoiler alert.
Sorry. I like me. So the biggest price I saw, it was like, depending on the cruise liner that you go on, and obviously what you're looking to get out of a cruise, that you could do it between $60,000 to $150,000 a year in modern day.
Wow.
But, and I have many questions about this whole thing, those cruises don't go out for 4 days and then come back
That's
sit
the
in the
thing.
shipyard for 3 days and then go back out.
You would almost spend as much time at a dock than you would at. It's just
right.
It makes no sense to me.
Right. This is not the Shangri-La you think it is, Nancy. Like,
it'd be like me going to the Lowe's Hotel and be like, "Yeah, I need a room for the next 5 years." Like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do with that?
Or it's like in my younger days, when maybe I went out a little late and you fall asleep on the train and you wake up and you're in the shipyard. That's kind of what it is.
But it's like, yeah, you're like, it's all right. Just start all over again.
Yeah, and if you are in fact moving in on the boat and paying for passage for 5 years, which, 5 years, 3 of them are at sea, 2 of them are in port.
Right.
Wouldn't you have moved all your stuff in yesterday?
Or wouldn't you have moved none
trying
of
to
it?
move in when all the passengers are coming on board?
This lady's got like suits of armor and empty bird cages, like all kinds of nonsense in that room. It's just like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, I get that the rooms are sparsely decorated, but her room is so full of stuff. She has a crazy bed in there. It's
a chandelier.
Like what?
There's no way that one of these cabin ceilings holds a chandelier.
There's zero chance that a crappy drop ceiling is going to hold this crystal.
We saw somebody go through the ceiling.
We did see someone go through the ceiling. They had to reinforce it. Maybe Charlie had to reinforce it. The specific. See what I mean? Nobody wants that.
Oh God, yeah. But it was jarring to me that all of this was happening, let alone the fact that it turns out Hattie is one of the sadder characters we've ever had. If you really break it down, it is sad.
Yeah, I agree. Enter, speaking of Hattie, enter Hattie Waterhouse. Tubing says, "Welcome aboard." She says, "You mean welcome home?" Oh, she's got a line in this episode that I just stood up and clapped for it all 3 times. She asked if the grumpy purser with the long face, gotta be Vagoda. Who else could that be? It's still work. They're not like, oh, is it? But they know who it is.
Yeah.
Julie says that's Charles, and he's assigned to her deck. And I get excited every time we have a validation of a new cast member. I get excited.
Okay.
Because apparently it only takes a cast of less than 10 to run a ship of 400 people. So when we get to meet,
they got this poor bastard running around everywhere on his last day of work.
He's the oldest. Yeah, it's a lethal weapon type situation. Like, I don't need this. He didn't have time for nonsense. Like,
Can you imagine if his last day was fishing Horseshack out of the water?
oh, he's not making it. He's not helping anybody up out of that water. Like, I don't even know if he floats. Like, it's one of those type of
The
things. He ate
irony
so
of
much
fish
meat.
not being able to swim.
Oh, oh, that's funny. That's an alternate ending. You can probably catch that on. We're gonna do that with Plato on the Patreon. The death of Abe Vigoda.
That can't be the title.
No, no.
Cannot be the title.
Oh, no, sorry. Ticker tape time. We see Al Breyer. I have seen very few people this fired up about throwing confetti at absolute strangers. He is 10 out of 10 excitement level.
How many birds did he accidentally throw
How
instead
many
of
birds did he
confetti?
And by the way, the trick with the come
What? You
on,
can't
man.
do it. I would posit to
I
say
could do it. I could do
that
it.
Al. Okay, well
You
next
give
week.
me an hour and I'll come back. I'll take my hat off and there'll be a bird under it.
I would say that Al Breyer was a
Mm.
far better magician than Sid Caesar was ventriloquist.
It's funny you say that because I thought the same thing. Because at least with the ventriloquist, they don't really have to do the thing that they're you know.
Right. Yeah.
But he had to like move things and
Well,
yeah, I agree.
It's not just that, but like I wanted to go back and add it up, but there was too many different scenes. I feel like there was 8 minutes of magic in this episode, like
They
actual magic.
were. Is
That was
that
the
less
padding.
or more than the our previous illusionist, Mr. Vincent Price, the mustacheless Price?
Yeah, but those felt self-contained, right? Because you still had Vincent Price
Yeah,
Pricing it up. This was
that's
like
true.
that Julie saw in half move was like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was pretty cool too. Julie was none too pleased, but I'll get to that too.
I've never seen that scene in every TV show
Never.
ever.
I've never seen that trick. It's the first time. It's amazing. They should see it more. We welcome Charlie Fletcher to the boat. He's hanging a chandelier and muttering about how much work he has to do because of Hetty.
I mean, true. If you're
It's
like
true.
Bob Crane is unpacking socks and getting loaded,
Yeah.
and Fish is hanging a goddamn chandelier
In a room that already has lights. It's the dumbest crap ever. Like, what are we doing? It's not even, he's not hooking up any wiring. He's just hanging it.
Who are you trying to impress, Nancy Walker? Who's coming into that room and seeing
look
the
who you're
chandelier?
trying to woo. Man. Oh, apparently
Listen,
all you need is
we know this boat is susceptible to hurricanes. Do you want a chandelier jostling around the top of your head there?
I want a chandelier as much as I want Abe Vigoda picking out the contents of the picnic I'm going to eat. That's my problem. It's just an awful assortment of old Italian dried meats and just almond cookies. Like, oh, thanks, Abe.
They got the old toilet with the handle.
Yeah, I didn't have a belt, so I used the toilet chain as a belt. Here's some gabagool. So Julie and Isaac and Doc arrive all to welcome Hetty. She says she has a project for them. For Doc, she says, we're going to get you married. I didn't catch the exact line, but Doc's just like, oh, don't worry about me. But he looks right into the camera.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah. Never again. For Isaac, we're going to make you an actor. And for Julie, she's going to be the first female captain of a cruise ship.
Yep.
I
Season
started
6
to Google.
of Salvage. She'll be the first.
It's just, or if she's even on the ship, she might be right over the rail, as we, learn later.
Yeah. So I think in the course of this nonsense, Nancy Walker indicates that the last 2 years have been pretty lonely. She hasn't seen these guys in a while. So, like, she is putting a lot of eggs in the basket of these crew people being her friends, nay, family. And also, 600 passengers on this boat every week.
Right.
They remember her like this? She hasn't been on for 2 years?
Well, keep in mind, she's also like some crazy, crazy rich person, too.
That's what it is. So they remember because she's
They were,
well.
I mean,
Yeah.
you have to give a higher level of service and all that
Okay. I get that.
nonsense.
Maybe she's the inspector.
But now that's funny. That's funny. Uh, and the thing I was thinking about was, if she's got all this money, see now your theory about the Charlie thing makes more sense because if this is a woman with all this money, then why would she go?
Yeah.
If you're a gazillionaire, you're going on the Pacific Princess.
Right. Yeah. She's going. She's going.
She's going
She's
on the
got to get some
Pacific
Charlie
Queen,
Fletcher, man.
wherever he is. Uh, the crew asks Hetty if she has a project for Charlie, and she shoos him out of the room and tells him to mind their business, including Charlie, which made me
Yeah.
laugh. Like she was like, "Ah, da, 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 da."
Maybe. Maybe Hattie could have like booked the cruise without the stuff.
Yeah,
Talk to
that's what I'm
Charlie.
thinking.
Talk to Charlie, and then did this plan instead of this plan. I mean, it worked out in the end, but this was not her plan. I don't think.
Maggie Walsh is unpacking in her cabin, and instead of Ken, Al is at her door. Which again is weird. That adjoining room thing is a little like. I
Well, it's
guess it's
also
fine.
weird because when we meet Ken,
Yeah.
he does not seem like the kind of person who felt the need to put on airs and having 2 rooms, right?
No.
So it's
No. He's
actually weirder that they have the room, the back-to-back
yeah.
rooms.
Because who's that is true. Like, why would they even bother?
Well, I also have a question.
Yeah.
So they are the ship's entertainment for this week.
Sure.
So in theory, I guess maybe they have 2 rooms because the ship is putting them up in these 2 rooms. Like these are free rooms.
Oh
I
yeah,
would
like
assume,
just some
right?
straight comps for yeah.
So maybe that's what it is, and it's a little
Maybe
less ridiculous. I mean, listen, the issue is not with the booking of the adjoining rooms. The issue is with the security of the
the
adjoining
zero
rooms.
the
So,
stranger danger aspect of
yeah.
adjoining rooms.
Because here's the fun thing: it turns out the adjoining room door does not lock. The closet locks.
Closet closet locks like a champ.
Closet locks like the tomb you will die in.
It's yeah, the closet is more secure in the adjoining room. That's the
Yeah,
craziest thing. If you want to be safe, go in the closet. What?
yeah,
Nothing.
yeah. No fire
Um,
alarms in there either.
instead of Ken, it's Al, the enthusiastic
Confetti man
thrower
himself.
of confetti. She explains that Ken couldn't make it. He had to go to Vegas. She immediately asks if Ken is with another woman. Al says, I don't know anything about that,
Yeah, I thought that
but
was pretty cool. Pretty
I don't know
funny.
anything about that. But don't worry about the act because Ken taught Al everything he knows. Maggie says, for your sake, I hope he taught you to work alone. She slams the adjoining door in Al's face, but we know that door doesn't lock. So it's not
No,
really a
it just
full.
bounces
Yeah,
back
it's
open.
just about, hey, I'm back. There's not even a latch.
Peekaboo.
It's one of those old bar doors, like a saloon.
This is
Um,
where I really thought that Maggie was a terrible actress because she's
yes.
woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. and then Horseshack against the thin paper door is just like, thanks a lot, brother.
Oh,
It gets better after that.
it gets
But
better. It does get
yeah.
better, but it's a little. We're off to a rough start here with Al
Yeah.
and Maggie. We see Phil and Melody walking through the cabin hallway. Poof! There's Gopher, and he approaches them and wants to know what this whole secret is. Well, they decide they're not going to wait for dinner,
Nope.
and they say Phil asks Gopher if he'd like to be in the hotel business. And he wants Gopher to manage his new hotel. Gopher doesn't know what to say. Phil offers to double his salary, which that's a big move. I don't care how much you make.
Well, that seems like a very Phil Livingston move, though. He definitely seems like the kind of guy who throws the money
Just throw
around
money
with,
at it.
and then doesn't care about you as a person. So
Or tells you he's going to go call and check on some inventory, and he disappears for 13 hours and nobody sees him. And he's like, here's
I
$10. Don't worry
I
about it.
I cannot believe that I'm going to say this, but
Mm,
Bobby Van paled in comparison to what is essentially the same role, except there's no kid,
mm.
as Billy Davis Jr. busy businessman. Billy Davis was way better and convinced me that he was a workaholic.
Yeah.
I think Bobby Van just went and got drunk somewhere.
Yeah. I have a theory too. It'll peek its head out here in the next act about Phil.
Excellent.
Gopher asked for time to think about it. Phil says he'll let him know in the morning. Of course, here's Steubing now in the hallway calling Gopher.
Gopher.
Gopher. Gopher says he might let him know sooner, meaning Phil.
There's like no way that Gopher wouldn't take that job.
Why would
double the salary?
But
I don't care how much you love the sea, right? Like, I mean,
we're the family. When we see love in the sea, they're talking about loving the captain.
Yeah,
because
you know what,
he's created this.
You can go jump on that boat anytime you want. Arizona's not that far from Los Angeles.
I think it's just a weird dynamic of like family crew and just weird, but I get it.
Do you think that Phil specifically came on this cruise to offer the job? Like, this couldn't have been a phone call. He wanted to actually talk to him.
No, I think he was probably like meeting some other woman on the ship that Gopher happened to work on, and he was like, "Oh, two birds,"
Hey, pal.
Something.
Hey, pal, how you doing?
Hey,
it's me,
glad to see
Bobby
you again.
Van. I mean, Phil Livingston.
Yeah, money is paper, and there's so much paper. I want to give it to you. He's just shady.
Business.
He just acted and you don't see his shadiness yet. It's not coming yet, but you'll see. You see it. Hetty and Doc are walking outside on the deck, arm in arm. Note: neither one are wearing sunglasses on a very bright day on the open seas. She says she's looking for a potential wife for Doc, and that she hasn't given up. They approach Isaac, who's working on the tiniest bar I've ever seen, with like 2 bottles of liquor. What could you make?
Whatever it
Remember
is,
Leslie
that's what
Nielsen
you're
took a
getting.
bottle from him last time. Remember, he's like, I'll just take that. But
it's like your bar is a gift set. There's like
a
coaster. There's 2 coasters and a hat.
It's just, yeah, like, what are you making? It's the Snoopy snow cone machine, essentially. There's nothing to make. You guys like amaretto? No.
Sorry. Sorry, go inside.
What do you got? I got amaretto, lots of lemons, and ice. Oh, damn, Isaac.
This is by far the
Mm.
best audio quality we've gotten in an outdoor scene.
I did notice that.
The whole run of the show. Like, there was no ADR, there was no wind. I could actually hear what they were saying, and it sounded like they were actually saying it. So I don't know what happened. Maybe it wasn't a windy day.
The one windless day. Of course, it's this episode.
Yeah.
Not the island episode.
It's like, sorry, Nancy Walker doesn't do wind.
No, she doesn't play. Well, her hair, you can't tell if it's windy or not, because that red helmet's not going anywhere. Good Lord. I was amazed by it. Like, it's not moving. Fun fact, if you go back and just check it out. Hetty tells Isaac to stand up straight, tells him that you'd never see Sidney Poitier slouching. Isaac says that Poitier isn't on his feet all day mixing drinks.
Yep.
Burn. Take that, Hetty.
That was a good joke.
She sees Charlie on deck. She goes over to talk to him. Tells him that there's still time for a quick game of shuffleboard. I did a little research on shuffleboard so I could use the proper jargon when describing the following actions. Charlie reluctantly grabs the shuffleboard cue.
Wow. Glad you looked that up.
Yeah. I looked it up. And pushes the weighted disc. We see this disc until we see the slightly the milky white trademark gam of Steubing.
Yeah, he's got nothing to do this week.
Just nothing to do.
He's nothing to do this week.
Just
so. I will say, we thought that was one of the best Steubings last week. And so, we were prepared for it to be bad. And when it starts off like this, now I will say it leveled off. It wasn't
There's a lot.
cartoonishly bad. But
Yeah.
that said, you have time. Like, you have time. Don't you have duties? Like,
yeah, it's
he hates stewards. That's the problem. We thought he was worried about Bob Crane going for his job. He just hates stewards.
he does, because he said something. Yeah, I think, you know what, that makes sense.
Yeah,
because something happens later that tracks.
you know what it is? It's
Mm,
that it's the awesome white jacket, long black tie look is better than the short jacket, and I think
he,
he's jealous.
he just didn't want any part of that.
No, he's jealous.
He's jealous. Take
He's
your
like, "Oh,
jacket off, Charlie.
I should have picked that as my formal wear and made the stewards wear the short jacket. I look like a duck."
I look like an idiot in this short
Yeah,
jacket.
yeah.
My hips are freezing. This is ridiculous. Hetty calls Steubing a spoil sport and hands him the roulette cue. And Steubing looks completely befuddled. We go to commercial.
Act. Hit the commercial button.
There's 2 commercial breaks this episode where they both go to commercial with Steubing looking completely befuddled. We go to commercial. We come back. We see Julie. She's introducing the Great Briar. Al walks on stage. We see Maggie watching his act. Why didn't she just go sit down? I don't know why she had to stand in a.
Well, like, isn't she in breach of contract?
You would think,
Isn't she
like, who's
getting a
paying for your
free
room?
room?
You got a free
Isn't
room
she getting right,
and
exactly, like,
food and
yeah, I'm sorry that your boyfriend didn't show up, but, like, she should
jobs.
have to pay for the room or get booted out.
Yeah,
They should
not
have
to
had to
mention,
drag her out of the pool.
all the hurricanes she drank in the Pirates Cove. You know, arr,
Arr.
arr, arr, arr. Here we go. Here's Al pulling birds out of scarves. Here we go.
Loves
Ooh,
those bird tricks.
loves it. And I wrote, was that the same bird that was under his hat? Because if so, it's not that impressive. I'm just saying. We've already established that there's a bird.
Alright,
Okay.
next week's our
Right.
Christmas episode.
Yeah.
I want you to pull a bird out of your hat.
All right. I'm
For
gonna see what I can do. I have plenty of notice. Birds
Yeah,
coming out of the hat next week.
there's time.
That's it. And then he puts the bird in a big wooden box. And he makes the bird disappear. A lot of bird-related magic, ladies and gentlemen.
It's like,
Uh,
"Hey, Ron, how are you with magic?" "I'm great." What do you do?" "Well, I got this bird trick, and I have another bird trick, and then
I have a rabbit trick.
and then I can kinda swim." What? This doesn't make any
I can
sense.
sort of swim. I can get wet.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Have you ever heard of cutting a woman in half?
Let me show you. Yes, there's a lump under the tablecloth, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's the bird." Tee hee hee hee. No, it's a rabbit. Not even a big rabbit, like a tiny rabbit. Moo magic.
Like
uh,
Blackstone out there.
it's just amazing. Hetty sees Charlie delivering drinks to a table on deck. And this is where I started thinking, I'm like, wait, what is his job? But I get it.
Yeah.
Charlie sees her and mumbles, "Here comes trouble." I love his mumbles. His mumbles are the best.
Oh, as
Uh,
opposed to his non-mumbles?
yeah, I think all he does, you know what? That's all he does is mumble. Okay.
Yeah, right.
It's she tries to get him to go dancing with her. Charlie says, this is where I brought this up earlier. "I'm not allowed to dance with passengers." What is that about?
Plumber poet rules.
You look at Gopher. Look at the rest of these lunatics
I
out
mean,
there.
like as we've established,
I'm
it seems
wondering,
like the
man.
stewards are under a tight leash, or this is like the plumber poet, where he says this is his rule, so he can basically screen everybody. Because women are knocking on Charlie Fletcher's door all the time to dance.
Well, now I'm wondering.
Tall, dark, and mumbly. People want to dance with him.
And old.
And old, right?
And old. Like really old. I wonder if this goes back to Stubby. Remember, he brought his lady to dinner. Remember, and he was like, "Oh, I'm wondering if it's like that."
Oh, I
like
think
a
there's
class type thing.
it's funny you say that because I think there's another correlation between old PJ Muldoon
Mm,
and Charlie Fletcher in this one as well. So very similar though. Steubing, bit of an ageist at
yeah.
minimum. At
Well, look,
minimum.
considering he's just mad. He doesn't want them to leave because then he'd be the oldest person on the ship. He can't have that. Then he really is just the Walmart greeter, with a short jacket on.
That is true. He really should have been excited. This is one of the few times he is not the oldest crew member.
Yeah, he's really just having a terrible week. Um, she said, yeah, he says, I'm not allowed to dance with passengers. I wrote, is he on parole? Is it a work release type situation? Like what? Hetty forces him to dance with her right next to the table he served drinks to. Not that that would be awkward as a cruise goer. Oh, now you're just going to dance right there.
Yeah,
Right.
it's fun. It's like interactive. It's like going to Hooters or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's dinner and a show. You can throw the peanut
Yeah,
shells on the
Tony
floor
and
too.
Tina's wedding.
It's Tony and Tina's wedding. Exactly what it is. Comment here. Terrible off rhythm dancing from Hetty. She's like dancing like 5 times too fast.
There's no
She
music.
is ornery. Like she reminds me right off the bat of like people that aren't cat people. Like cats tend to go for those people. Like I feel like she's a cat and he's like a non-cat person at this point.
She is a lot. And I do wonder what their meet cute was that sparked this because, she really had to pull teeth here.
Literally.
So,
I don't know what. So
plus, what if she doesn't even seem to know that Charlie was available?
she didn't even care. She didn't even care.
Didn't seem like it.
Mm. We see Isaac approaching. He tells Charlie that people in Promenade 352 are complaining. He was supposed to deliver their drinks 20 minutes ago. Charlie, in a very high energy statement, says, I'm coming. Mumbles, you did it to me again, to Hetty.
You rag. So we've seen Isaac deliver all the drinks so far on this
Yeah,
show, which good that somebody else is doing it.
sure.
It's the middle of the day. Why are you getting drinks delivered to your cabin? If it's nighttime, I understand. It's been a long day, room service, a lot of stuff. But to have a drink delivered to your room during the day on a cruise, I don't understand who's doing that. Is it the girl with the nose? Like, what is who's getting those orders? Is it
Yeah.
oh, you know what it is? It's Lucille the monkey.
Or, or it's that pregnant German Shepherd. They have their cravings,
Yes, that's true. But the point is, it's like I don't think. And then you're gonna call and complain. You're the worst people ever on this boat. I want to watch those people.
Well, it'd probably be quicker for them just to go get the drink.
The cruise is built for that.
Oh, yeah. Who's going on a cruise to stay in their room?
Exactly. During the day, especially. Like I said, at night, even the
Sure.
Jane Curtin where Isaac delivered the Irish coffee to Jane Curtin, it was nighttime.
Sure,
She
it
didn't
makes
want to
sense.
go to the bar. I understand that. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is like when we
Yeah.
used to order from that pizza shop that was like down the street.
Twice a day. Twice in one day. I remember you put your foot down and be like, "No, we're not ordering from that place twice in one day."
And
So
what happened?
somebody secretly ordered it
Yep.
from the pizza place.
No one listens to me.
Wasn't even a mile away. Wasn't even a mile away.
Mile, you could see it.
Yeah.
You could see it
It
from
was
the
very
house.
close. We had things to do. We were sitting in the same spot. We couldn't move. Saving chairs. We're back to the Great Briar. Says he needs an assistant for his next trick. Asked Julie to be his assistant. Let me just say now, you can tell Julie is no fan of magic. Like
No.
in the town in Oregon where she's from, like it is frowned upon.
Yeah, Julie's been hoodwinked by a magician at some point.
She doesn't want any
Yeah.
family history of weird wizards or something.
Yeah.
Steubing says it's part of your job. Get up there. In another shining moment for Meryl this week.
Yeah.
You don't
You
see
know whose
many women
you know
captains
whose
have
job
this
it
week.
actually is? It's the girl back there.
Yeah, the one who isn't sitting.
Yeah.
The really good actress in the back of the room over there who got a free room.
I thought it was nice that Horseshack covered for her, though. He said that Maggie wasn't feeling well.
Well, yeah, I mean, he doesn't want
Not
to.
that she's, throwing a temper tantrum.
He's not Ken. You know what I
No,
mean?
he's not Ken. No, he's definitely not
He's
Ken.
not Ken.
Few people are.
Yeah, a few people. Because say what, Ken wouldn't be throwing confetti. Ken's not no time for confetti.
No. Ken would be behind someone throwing confetti, inappropriately grabbing at them. So
He would. I don't even think he made the portal. He didn't have time for that. He was like, I don't do portals.
no.
I don't do confetti. I don't do adjoining rooms.
Oh
I don't
God.
do magic tricks at the bottom of the pool. I guarantee you Ken is not doing that stupid trick.
Oh, there's no way Ken's getting in the pool.
No.
No.
So Julie gets up there. Well, the Great Briar is going to saw Julie in half.
Yep.
Yuck. And Julie is super not cool with this. Like she is, no, I don't want to do it. Well, guess what, Julie?
Choppy.
Choppy performs the trick, and again, well done as a fake magician, as opposed to that fake ventriloquist last week. And we see and hear Maggie Walsh, who now I'm thinking she might be a little crazy, is yelling bravo over and over and over and over.
She reacted like the lady in Casablanca when they played the French national anthem. Vive la France! Like it was the same exact thing. She was like, bravo!
She was so happy. Maybe this whole thing is her thing. It's not so much Ken. Maybe she's just like a magic groupie.
Yes.
That's her thing.
Yeah. That's how she got that's why Ken didn't have a chance, is because he didn't do any magic.
He didn't do any illusions. Yeah.
Yeah, she's now got 2 kids from her ex-husband, Doug Henning.
Yeah. And he says he used protection, so he doesn't know how it happened. He said,
"The world of magic and wonder."
Doug Henning. So the Great Briar leaves the stage, and Julie is still in 2 pieces.
Come on, guys!
I love it. Come on, guys. We're in the Pirates Cove now. But Isaac is not dressed like an owl this time, which is refreshing.
Yeah.
He's still got a weird outfit on. Doc's telling Gopher what an amazing offer it is to manage a hotel. Julie says she'll miss him, but this is an amazing opportunity. Gopher says the captain won't. Here, enter Steubing. Here we go again. There's impeccable timing. He reads Gopher's latest suggestion. To save electricity by turning the ship's lights off at midnight. All right. Captain shoots it down and makes Gopher feel dumb, and Gopher is clearly not happy at this point.
I mean, this is just Stubby's a complete a-hole in this one. Now, that was not as good an idea as the non-smoking. But the captain of this boat has time to bring down things from the suggestion box to mock them. Come on.
I mean, essentially, Gopher's trying to do 2 things, right? Create a non-smoking section, and he's trying to save some electricity.
Yeah, he's going green.
His heart's in the right place.
Yeah, he's going green.
Totally going green.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's 79. They were like, get the hell out of here with that.
Yeah, it's 1979. We're in the shadows of 3 Mile Island. So.
Better not leave all the lights on. When you leave the room, leave them on. I'll be back. Jeez.
Jimmy Carter's power grid. So.
Just always, everything's on. Maggie Walsh walks up to the table that Al is sitting at. She joins him and offers to be his assistant for the rest of the cruise. Says that he's funnier than his brother. Yeah, she's completely out of her mind, super flat crazy now. And then Al gets this weird look on his face and tells her that nobody has ever said that he was better than his brother at anything. Just a little peer into the madness of the Great Briar. We see Steubing sitting at his desk. Gopher comes in after knocking very politely. Starts to tell Steubing about the hotel manager job. Steubing cuts him off. Says he hopes this isn't another dumb suggestion. Gopher, quote, "It's about my professional future." Steubing, you should spend more time working and less time stuffing the suggestion box. My go for my next suggestion is to get rid of the suggestion box. And he is pissed.
Yeah, he is.
Screams, I quit, storms out, slams the door. Old
I
dummy
was trying to
Merrill.
remember, was this a more angry quit than
Oh,
the
yeah.
last one? I think it was,
Because
yeah.
last one, remember, he was sort of like brainwashed.
Yes, he
So he
was.
wasn't really mad. He was just kind of above it.
Right. I think he kinda quit and then realized what happened as opposed to this
Yeah.
time he was telling Steubing to stuff it in his milky white thighs.
His milky white thighs and his full stomach. An oblivious Steubing looks right into the camera and says, "What's eating him?" And we go to break.
Wah, wah.
So
Steubing is also incredibly tan this week.
I was thinking the same thing.
It's like his shirt's too tight.
His
He looks like
head
a
is
he looks like
his
a
head
pimple.
is his head is so tan.
Yeah. That's what makes me think they shot this like, this was the first one they shot for season 2.
I could see that.
That's my
see
thought.
that.
Gavin McLeod just got off of 2 weeks in Acapulco.
Yeah, he just stayed on the ship the whole break.
Yeah,
Just
he
because
lives on the
he
ship.
likes
That's what the storyline is pulled from the life of
That's it.
Gavin and Patty McLeod.
As seen on TV. We're back, and Hetty is putting a record on her phonograph. A couple notes. It seems like a dated item in 1979. My second note is also this is the name of my favorite Def Leppard song.
Eddie
Uh,
Waterford.
Eddie Waterhouse. They open with it before. Charlie arrives at Hetty's cabin door, says you called and said it was important. Hetty says yes and asks him to sit down, and she apologizes for last night. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Still very aggressive here, Mike. She is very aggressive.
Well, she's old. I mean, there's no time to dilly.
I guess that's true.
But that said, she also had the patience to just move all her stuff onto a boat for 5 years. So she might be crazy. I know you think Maggie's crazy. I think Nancy Walker might be crazy. Or senile. I guess when you get to a certain age, you're senile. You're not crazy anymore. So
I wonder what they did in the 70s before there was like an awareness of like Alzheimer's or people losing their marbles. I wonder if they just attribute it to be like, yeah, when you get old, you get crazy.
I mean,
Sometimes.
pretty much, yeah. I think
Yeah.
they sentence you to live on a boat.
Goodbye.
So
You'd be
long.
crazy off the coast of Mexico somewhere.
Exactly. See you in Mazatlan.
Who knew they had an international airport, by the way?
Oh, I'm
Who
so
knew?
excited about that airport. They have one flight.
One flight every week.
It leaves 10 minutes from now.
It's a biplane. If it's too windy, it's a no-go. So I said also so much stuff in this cabin.
It's funny because I don't think they cheated. That is definitely a cabin we've seen. That could be the boom boom room, not the boom boom room, but
I think it's the big one.
The big one, right?
Yeah.
Like we've seen it in a couple, so it's not like they wheeled out some room to get all the stuff in.
Mm-mm.
But you're right. There is stuff
Just
everywhere
on top of
Just
empty
everywhere.
bird cages, suits of armor. Like, what do you need this to? And if you're gonna go, well, what do I bring? Oh, I need my phonograph.
I mean, that's a pretty modern item in 1979.
That is true. Well, and I'm thinking of it as you were saying that, I was thinking like TV wise, right? Like
Oh,
she
she's gonna
wouldn't
have
be of a generation that would even watch TV, really.
And if she does, it's like the heaviest TV. The TV she would have in that cabin would be way heavier than the chandelier she had.
It would sink the ship. I think it was made of lead. It's huge. Got a big giant, oak cabinet.
They just throw her TV overboard when they have to stop. Like there's no anchor. It's just
throw a
the
chain
television.
on that thing.
It's the Zenith.
We're at Mazatlan. Let's throw your Zenith overboard. You're in the cabinet.
Wait, don't turn it off yet. I have to watch the end of Salvage.
Turn it off the UHF thing too, because I'm waiting for Charlie says if the captain catches me again, I'll be swinging like that chandelier. Eesh.
This is where I get confused because we find out in like the next scene that he's retiring.
Right. So why wouldn't he?
Why would he care? Why would
Wouldn't
you
it
care
be
about
like more
Daniel?
like Murtaugh?
Or like just, Office Space. He should just be like, I
Just
don't care
start
about
just
any of this.
breaking off and breaking equipment very
Yeah, and
slowly.
then right, and then the flip side of that coin is why are all the crew members treating him so lousy? They should be excited for his retirement. This guy's been on the boat for 32 years.
It's wild. You know what's weird is I feel like that's a running theme. When we had what was his name with Loretta Swit? Remember he was his job was to like polish the railings. What was he? Remember on the
Okay. So I'm gonna give you the answer to this, and then I'm gonna bring up something that I wasn't gonna bring up, but
yeah.
you get Loretta Swit and Florence Henderson backwards
Oh, I did it
all
again.
the time.
I did it again.
So that was Schneider
Yeah,
with Florence
Schneider
Henderson
with Florence Henderson.
wiping the banisters. Loretta Swit, last we saw her was Russian.
Oh
So,
yeah, that's right. Vodka, the vodka
but you've shown
episode.
that in like 3 or 4
I don't
episodes.
know why. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird. Oof. Um, Hetty says she's cashing. Oh, I'm sorry. Hetty tells him that she likes him. He says he sort of likes her too, which I felt was sort of like he's sort of backed into a corner.
Yeah, what's he gonna say? "Oh, you're not
No,
my
no,
type."
no, yeah, not
Ew.
really. I
Ew.
really want to get back to work. Um, Hetty says she's cashing in a rain shack after their dance was interrupted last night. Charlie says you can't dance in here. There's no room. Amen, Charlie. Amen.
This place is a
Uh,
mess.
this place is terrible. She puts music on. They dance, and they dance, and they dance. This is a very long scene. Like, oh, we're doing this already, huh? This
Yeah.
long. I think they danced to Stairway to Heaven. They played the whole 14 and a half minute song or however it is. It
I
it
mean, it's funny because
wouldn't end.
watching it, it didn't necessarily feel like this, but this thing went very fast and there
Yeah,
wasn't like a lot of cut back and forth. And you get done and you're like, man, nothing really happened.
nothing happened.
And that's when I realized, oh, 9 minutes of magic and 4 minutes of dancing.
Yep,
It's just like it was
filling
I
that
guess it
time.
was good. I guess it was good padding in that I couldn't like specifically realize it was happening at the time as opposed to like
Right.
disco dancing, over commercial breaks. But yeah, it was very like there were like 4 scenes in this whole show.
Yeah, it was wild. I noticed it more on the second watch as I was doing notes. I was like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh, they're still dancing.
No, I was like, "Oh, I'm glad Mike got this episode, and I'm about to start on the two-parter." It's like,
Right.
it's so great.
Oof. Phil and Melody are exiting the Sausage King elevator.
Mm.
I refer to it. Melody says she hopes Gopher takes the job offer. Phil says we'll soon find out as they approach Gopher. Gopher greets them by saying good morning, boss and Mrs. Boss. Okay, there we have it. Enter Steubing. Here we go. Wants to have a word with Gopher. Gopher says, I don't see why. Steubing asks if he's had a change of heart. Gopher says, no, I've had a change of employers.
Boom.
Introduces Phil and Melody. Tells Steubing he's going to manage their hotel. And it's funny, Steubing didn't even give him a chance to even talk about what he wanted to talk about.
I mean, that's just but that's that it's funny you
Yeah.
said that because I have a similar note where it's like, this is the one consistent defining trait of Merrill Steubing is he will cut you off when you were trying to tell him something
Yeah.
and steamroll you and then get offended that he didn't know what you were talking about.
He's
And
that guy that's,
it happens mostly to women,
yeah, it
but
does.
it happened to go for a bunch of times too. So
He's that guy that's like, okay, what appetizers do you want to get? And then orders none of the ones everyone wanted to get because, he's just bothers me this week.
donuts. Donuts are an appetizer, Steubing.
Yeah, I know. He's everything. Steubing says that he's leaving for a better job, and that's great. And then he says, well, he thought Gopher was leaving because of him. And my note is, of course he would think that.
Yeah, it's all about him.
Of course, in his little kingdom. Congratulates Gopher and congratulates Phil and Melody. Finishes this conversation with his patented 2-finger salute. zero reason for a salute here, by the way. There's no military custom. There is no 2-finger salute. I just want to.
I will be curious when we get back on the actual timeline if that because last week he had corrected it. I'll be curious to see when we're in current day. Has that correction stuck, or was that an anomaly last week?
I bet you later in life when he was doing like conventions, I bet you he was hitting them with the,
Give me a season 2, Merrill.
I feel like it's like his trademark almost.
His
I don't
own.
love it, but anyway, I can get lost in it. I can just keep anyway.
Do you feel like Gopher
Mm.
has I'll be curious to see if they ever do Gopher's dad, because I feel like there's some deep psychological issue where he thinks Steubing is his dad. Like he looks for validation with him in a way that is not. He's not someone who is trying to be a ship captain. Never said that. He doesn't have any real reason to feel indebted to this man, but he's always looking for his approval in a way that is beyond, subordinate boss.
I see that, but I also think too the Steubing aspect, like the way Steubing treats him, kind of feeds that.
Yeah,
because he's like, oh, I'm that rough on the outside kind, that sort of thing. Where it's like, I think Steubing doesn't have children. He doesn't have a wife. I think he prefers his little sort of faux family on the cruise ship,
but on his terms.
but 100% on his terms.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
They don't. I feel like people on the other cruise ships don't even wear shorts. But Merrill's like, no. I'm not hiding these gams. Everyone wears shorts now.
Like, there's no way Captain Norton's showing his legs.
No,
as far as you know, Captain Norton doesn't even have legs.
No,
Yep.
He lost them in some
he's like the
way.
Wild West villain. He's just got spider legs.
And he drives his own boat, so doesn't let a stranger drive it.
That's right.
Phil has to leave to call the contractor for the tennis court. And so begins the turn of Phil.
You know how hard it is to set up a ship-to-shore conference call?
I wrote the same thing. I went, are you another ship-to-shore call?
Listen.
You wouldn't wrap this up before?
Morning.
Like, a cruise ship in the 1779 is not a place where you're like, let me check in. No. You're in the middle of okay.
Guess what? Hey, did you pour the concrete? Hey, did you paint the lines? Thanks.
Hey, good. Hey, what about the net? Did you get the net?
Oh, yeah? No. We need
you forgot the net.
Was just a roller hockey rink.
Yeah, good thing I called. Is it flat?
Can't do anything about it.
Is it flat? All right. Okay, gotta go. TTYL. All right. Melody asked him to check on the lights for the courts as she suggested. And Gopher
night tennis.
I love night tennis.
Yeah.
Guess who doesn't like love? Doesn't love
Bill Livingston.
Bill is like, I thought about it and it was a terrible idea.
Like right. How will they even see the ball?
Oh, it's
next.
So
you're gonna tell me that New York City's gonna have night tennis and that people are gonna love it.
People sleep at night, you dummy. He's just such a Gopher tells Melody that he loved her ideas, and as new hotel manager, he'd love to hear more. She says, with a little encouragement, she could get a lot of ideas. So it's like you're painting this picture that Phil is just this monster now. Like Phil is like, she's afraid to talk.
Right. It did jump a little bit. It'd be funny if like Gopher went to thank her and she away. It's
she's slipping punches.
I think the problem was, I have this later, but it fits here now.
Yeah.
I think the problem was Bobby Van did not convince me that he was either a workaholic, successful businessman or a chauvinist. He didn't show me either of those guys. Like, give me Cap. You know who would have been great? Captain Dave. Captain Dave would have been great.
Captain Dave would have been fantastic
in this role. You would have known exactly what was happening because he was bipolar at best.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Bobby Van's just good time Charlie. He just doesn't like your ideas. That's basically all it is.
He doesn't want to. Yeah. Well, and the other thing too, right? So this is okay. So they're exiting the Sausage King elevator, right? This is all like the morning time. This is all happening. Okay. Let's just keep that in mind. So he leaves to make the phone call in the morning.
Right.
That's it. Let's just make a note there. Okay. Hetty's on deck with Isaac. She puts of something in his mouth. What did she put in his mouth? Were they lemons? Were they ping pong balls? I don't even know what it was.
Orange slices. I mean, some bar, limes, some accoutrement.
She puts two of
Swizzle
something in his
sticks.
mouth. Susie sews shirts for soldiers. I prefer the Sally, but
Yeah.
Isaac tries unsuccessfully. Enter Steubing and Charlie. Steubing asks Charlie to make sure, daytime still, Steubing asks Charlie to make sure there are plenty of chairs set up for the magic show on the Lido deck. Charlie, they leave, then he comes back and tells Hetty that he'll pack a picnic, as we've discussed, of assorted smoked Italian meats for them to eat that night. Steubing comes back looking for Charlie. Charlie's been gone for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
This is Steubing. This is he's supervising the setup of
chairs. And again, Charlie retiring. Also, listen, I know you're getting paid, so do your job, but like there's not a younger man. That's moving chairs is a younger man's
No
game.
kidding.
Come on.
Like,
And
really?
You know who else thought that, as we found out when we got to the
Oh.
Lido deck? Charlie thought that because he didn't move a goddamn chair.
He didn't move a chair. What do you need chairs for that trick? If you have chairs, you can't see into the pool. That's the dumbest thing ever.
It's a boat. What, are you gonna put some folding chairs down?
Stupid. Hetty, Steubing asked Hetty if she'd seen Charlie. She says, "I don't have time to keep track of her crew. Don't you do anything?"
Boom.
I was just like, "Oh, Hetty."
It is funny that the people who give Steubing the business the most are children and olds.
Because they say the darndest things, Mike. That's why.
From the mouths of babes or olds.
That's it.
Now, does Hetty qualify as an? She's an old, correct?
We're
in
gonna
our
have
categories?
to talk about this because I think we originally had it at 60 because that life begins at 60. But I think we just need to like kind of decide that okay, they are portrayed as an old,
Well,
and these two are definitely portrayed as old.
Yeah, don't be fooled by Hetty's, crimson helmet. Like she is
right. I think Nancy Walker is probably younger than you think, but I think this would qualify.
27.
Yeah, spring chicken.
27. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I think so. And again, since we don't tell each other who we're nominating till the show, we'll probably have to have that argument on the show. But that's kind of where I'm going at it.
Meryl doesn't say a word to this and retreats with another awkward 2-finger salute.
Boo!
Here we go. It's magic time, Mike.
I never thought about it. Do you think he does a 2-finger salute because his fingers are sticky from all the pastry?
They're stuck to his hand. All the Boston cream and jelly. He can't straighten his hand out.
It's like Peter Venkman trying to get the slime off in the library. Like he's just like.
That's why he had to repaint his office. There was just jelly all over the walls. Poor guy. All right, magic time. Julie introduced the Great Briar. Enter Al and his new assistant Maggie. So Al's in a straitjacket. Then they
and Maggie is in a Bobby the Brain Heenan jacket.
Oh, she really is. I'm so glad you said that. She really, really is. I don't know what, like a little less flair, Maggie. You know what I mean? A little less flair.
Get out of here, Weasel.
Yeah, we don't need that. What did she have like a neck brace on too? Did she have the whole? Is she doing the whole with the bow tie? No. He's in a straitjacket, and then he's in a bag that's locked and bolted. They lift the bag. These guys, they don't drop him in the pool. They do the 1, 2, and they launch him in the pool, which is probably not. I don't know if it has anything to do with the trick, but it just seemed weird.
This is why those people in that cabin can't get a drink, is because all the stewards are tossing a magician into a shallow pool.
Setting up who's 80 and can set up a chair, and then who can throw people in a pool in a bag. One of the two. Then I wrote, everyone watches as the bag isn't moving at the bottom of the pool. Love how people wonder aloud about how long he could hold his breath before somebody jumped in. Interesting note here, Mike. Again, there's no lifeguards. We don't have lifeguards.
No.
Number 2, Is the Lido deck pool the equivalent of bug pool?
Yeah, probably.
I would think it can't be the main pool.
It's not the main pool, right? It's just not. Like this is the one that Isaac fell in and injured himself, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we know it's not that deep. The fact that Maggie kind of does a real dive into it was surprising.
Breaks her neck.
Yeah.
So Maggie jumps in the pool, and then we see the Great Briar appears in, I don't know what that is, bathroom, closet, shower.
It's where that guy was talking to himself.
That's right.
The
That's
nerd.
right. That's right. When he had the little book. Yeah.
Howie.
What a trick. Why? What a trick. And everybody's like, woo, again, one person jumped in to save him. He asked Maggie why she's in the...
Once again, we're done, right? So
yeah, that's it.
Pacific Princess presents 2 to 5 minutes of entertainment for your
It's the
value.
quickest trick you've ever seen. It's so fast. We do card tricks, but we only do it with 3 cards. We don't have time.
We got to go. Last week I was on this boat and the ventriloquists were on for 5 seconds and they were just arguing.
They were gone. Yeah, we could hear them arguing, which was sort of a show because we imagined that they were still doing it with dummies.
The aristocrats.
He asked Maggie why she's in the pool. She says to save him. And then we see some open mouth kissing like I've never seen before. Listen, I know it's 1979, but this is Mr. Horshack, Mr. Kotter. This is not a comfortable watch.
This was not Freddie Boom Boom Washington.
No, it was like a hippo eating a whole pumpkin. I mean, he just went in mouth wide open. I'm like, oh boy, jeez. It's sunset, Mike. You know what that means?
Vagoda casual wear.
Well, Vagoda casual wear, and also Phil is still on the phone. Apparently, we'll get back to that. Phil's still on the phone. Sunset. Charlie and Hetty are on deck together. He says, "I don't go for the mushy stuff." Surprise, surprise. Says that this sunset's the best because I'm seeing it with you. Followed by a classy smooch and the ultra rare Vagoda smile.
Yeah, flashing those pearly whites.
Well, they're both happy, but this was his last cruise. He's retired. He got an apartment. He says, "Come with me." 32 years at sea is enough. Again, this is a long scene.
Yeah.
She calls him a stubborn old man. He calls her a stubborn old lady. He then apologizes, gives her another classy smooch, and walks away. This scene was 6.5 hours long. I felt it's like, okay. And as Vagoda's walking away, we go to commercial.
So we find out that he's retiring.
Yeah.
In this episode, he has been browbeaten by Steubing.
Yeah.
None of the other cast members who seem to like him personally, right? They were all joshing with him and stuff, but they never say congratulations or anything. They give Gopher a cake. Charlie doesn't get a cake. It's like, did he not tell anybody, or is he lying? Is he lying to Nancy Walker about this?
I really hope so.
Oh,
he's in the witness protection program.
That's it.
You're blowing my cover.
Yeah.
You know, we are back from commercial. Gopher and Melody are having drinks, still waiting for Phil to return from his phone call. How is this not a thing? He was gone all day and all night on this phone call. Now it's nighttime.
But you know what's funny that now that you said that, I did not think of this when I was watching it, but I think it is a thing. And I think they are letting you do the math on it, because later at the end, when there's a lot of, I don't want to lose you, you're going to lose me, all that kind of stuff, I felt that was maybe a little unearned. But now that we're talking about it, I think maybe the connotation was he is screwing around.
And maybe that's why he was so quick to jump on, like, Gopher hugging her and stuff.
So in a weird way, I think this was well written and kind of subtle. I did not think that watching it. I'm just thinking of this now when we're talking.
Well, think about it. And the other one, if Abe Vigoda walked away, Eddie was all alone, with a picnic.
Oh, listen, if Abe Vigoda leaves that boat 3 minutes earlier, she just moved all her stuff out and doesn't know where to go. So
She's just homeless now. It's terrible. Yeah, they're waiting for Phil to arrive. Enter the crew with champagne. Stubing says he has some suggestions on running a hotel. Here we go, Gopher. Lean into this one. Gopher tells him to put his suggestions in the suggestion box.
wah, wah.
Julie makes potentially the worst toast I've ever heard. To Gopher, may you be as happy in your new job as we are sad to see you go.
Yep.
I wrote, WTF is that?
This is from the people
it?
who wrote that line from the Bert Convy thing where she was like, I wish your ex-wife was as good a person as you are a man, or like something.
Just
like,
some weird, I was like, what a terrible. How about just like, we're going to miss you? Like, keep it simple there, Julie.
yeah, stay in touch. I'll hit you up on 1978 Facebook.
And then I thought it was weird that, like, so Gopher's with all of his friends and they're hanging out, and Melody's like, oh, the band's playing my song, which at this point I think it could have been any song. Melody's a little crazy.
Yeah.
She wanted to dance with Gopher. And then they split the screen, or they split the scene rather, to them starting to dance on the dance floor, to them outside with nobody else still out there dancing by themselves. It looked like might have been the Lido deck. I don't know. He wrote, things are getting weird now. They almost smooch, but Gopher kind of walks away. It's getting sort of awkward.
It was very similar to when he was dancing with Amber a few weeks ago.
Yes.
And they kind of started dancing and they end up, it's almost like Gopher goes into this dancing fugue state. But yeah, Gopher, the good person. And I think maybe deep down he knew the score before she did, for definitely.
Well, if he knows Phil, he knows what's up.
Yeah. But I think Gopher's doing the math in his head, and it's like, I don't want to, cheat. I don't want to offend my friend and break up a friendship. I don't want to take this job. And I think he's thinking all those things at the same time. So
yeah. It was interesting. I liked how they put this sort of thing on him.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking too, I'm like, well, what's he going to do?
It was a little more layered. I mean, the problem is we've seen Gopher quit or get fired 3 times now already. Yeah. So it does lose a little bit of the gravitas, but
Gopher says this can't be, and then leaves as he says, I'll see you around the ship.
In hell.
Fast forward. Next thing there's a knock on Al the Great Briar's cabin door. Uh-oh. It's his much taller brother, Ken, with a lot of chest hair showing. Says he's on the ship because the girl in Vegas was a waste of time.
Oh, hold on. I got it because he came in so hot. I had to write it down. Well, that chick in Vegas was a real loser. And you know me, I don't waste time.
I'm out.
We all know that, Ken.
Yeah, you're making that abundantly clear. He doesn't waste any time. Here's your airline ticket. I'm taking your place. Leave now.
Plane leaves in an hour. You better be on it.
He fully expected Al to start just packing right then.
Oh yeah, I'm not even sure he thought he was going to pack. I mean, he only got an hour.
Like, just leave. Says he's on the ship because the girl in Vegas waste. Yeah, figured there was still time to spend with Maggie. He asked Al where she is. Al says next door.
She can probably hear you.
She might hear you on the wafer thin walls. Hands Al a plane ticket back to LA from the beautiful Mazatlan International Airport.
Now serving flights to Los Angeles every hour.
Every hour. Ken knocks on Maggie's door, and she is having none of Ken's nonsense. I wasn't sure how that was going to go. I thought maybe she would like sort of, and at the end she would find Al, that kind of thing.
Yeah, they didn't really. I will say this: there's 2 episodes in a row now. I mean, Ken wasn't on long enough to really deserve the comeuppance he got, but comeuppance was had again. And that's 2 weeks in a row, which I do appreciate, because you're right. Normally, there would have at least been some sort of like, oh, Ken, or Ken would just strong armed her, I guess.
Yeah, he was just taking her. Plus, you got to think about is this level of comeuppance is bigger than the Maggie one. If you remember what we heard before about Al saying, "Well, no one's ever told me I'm better than." This is a
And
long running
yeah.
20-year plus comeuppance he had coming.
Oh
So,
yeah.
so
And
maybe that's why he,
that's
yeah,
why he was entombed in the
that's why he,
closet.
yeah, he killed a man basically. Uh, we see Phil. Hey, there's Phil
Hey.
on deck, and Phil is walking at a cocaine pace. Okay, he is like, wow. Says to Melody that Gopher accepted the job yesterday and then turned it down this morning. Told Phil that he was in love with the ship and couldn't leave. Mm. Melody knows what's going on here.
Yeah.
Julie says, "Sees."
Oh,
Sorry. Yeah.
hold on.
Yeah.
So Phil's like, where am I going to get a manager now? And Steubing walks by and he's like, Captain Steubing. And they walk off and Bobby Van puts his arm on Steubing's shoulder as they walk away. And Gavin McLeod like grabs Bobby Van by the waist. Like they're going steady.
Like he's letting him lead.
And then they walk off together. And I think they were supposed to connotate that, maybe Bobby Van was going to offer Steubing the job. Turns out I think he was just filling him in. But
Steubing's ready to become his wife. You know what I mean? He had
certainly
his arm
seems
around
that
his
way.
petticoat. Like,
He
whoa.
likes. Hey, listen, he's a star effer. We know this about Merrill
Oh,
Steubing.
yeah.
So.
And he's like, "Do you know magic too?" You know?
Illusion.
I love magic. Julie sees Hetty on deck, says hi. The crew's having a party tonight. Here's the thing. They're not having a party to say goodbye to Charlie. They're having a party. Yeah, Gopher's leaving, and Charlie's like, "I've been on this boat for 30-some years.
I've been on this boat before Gopher was alive."
They're like, "You're planning a party for Gopher?" Yeah, just
and you're planning a party that you just literally he just got a job yesterday, and you have a party planned. Like I assume Julie was in contact with HR, and they would let you know that she's probably got to do an exit interview, right, with Charlie.
Maybe Charlie gives her Red Buttons vibes. Who knows? Something there.
I think it's a PJ Muldoon upstairs, downstairs.
Could be.
It's a class system on this boat.
It makes sense. Hetty says that they're not an item anymore. She explains the situation to Julie. Here we go. Julie asked if she can give some advice, and I pause the episode at this point, and I go, "Dear God, no, Hetty. You've lived this long without it. Don't." Oh boy, what is she gonna say?
What if she had broken into inner monologue like a couple of weeks ago?
I kind of think it was. I think it was. She was like, "Did I think this or say this?" What did she say? "I love my job, but for the right man, I'd jump over that rail." And I wrote, "To potentially drown, to be eaten by sharks, to potentially be caught in the boat propeller." Like what do you like?
You probably should have been
what,
like, I'd walk down that exit ramp.
yeah. Or I'd leave my job if I found, like, you know what I mean? If I found a healthy relate.
If I
She's
found
like,
the
"If
right
I found
man
a
who
man,
didn't have
I
two
would
dumb
throw
kids.
myself over Niagara Falls." Like, whoa, Julie, don't.
I mean, to be fair, a few weeks ago with that Karen Maynard episode when she was jealous and Julie said, "Oh, I love my job. If I lost it, I'd kill myself." Like, yeah, these are just words that were said back then. But yeah, you don't have to always put them in Julie's mouth.
Julie, don't. Julie should not be the one doling out relationship advice. Hetty says
hold on.
Yeah.
She's was it her or was it Steubing? Do we think Steubing hooked up with what's her name last week? I was gonna say Julie is the one who has most recently had relations on this boat.
Yeah. No, okay.
Unless you think Steubing hooked up with Eleanor or whatever her name was.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And I'm guessing he didn't because he was still married.
Yeah. That's why he respected.
So Julie's got the conch shell this week, so she's allowed to.
She's allowed to.
She's got the linear championship.
That's funny. Eddie says, or the MVP championship, as we saw, that was awarded last Saturday night in Vegas. Was it Friday night?
Friday
night. It was a great fight. Next. Hetty says she's too old to change and too short to jump over the rail.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, way to sort of make that a less awkward my moment by throwing in some humor. Like, hey, Julie, you might have lost your mind.
Yeah. Sorry, honey. I'd like to rescind my "you're going to be a female boat captain."
Oh,
So,
yeah. Can we ixnay on the oat Captain Bay? Yeah. Melody's knocking on Gopher's door. She apologizes for last night. She says she doesn't know what came over her. And in my alternative episode, Gopher says, "It's not your fault, girl. You've been gophered." You know, it's not what happened. Uh, tells her he can't take the job, and they can still all be friends. They hug. Here comes Cocaine Phil. Just
yeah,
air
no
trigger
time to
Phil.
knock.
No knock Phil. Just
I
run
gotta
him
tell
mad.
you, I gotta tell you, if anybody ever walked into my room without knocking, I would. Gopher should
I'd
have
be mad.
shot Bobby
Yeah.
Van on sight.
Yeah.
Like,
Bobby
don't
Van's
do
so
that.
entitled. That's what it is. It's that
Yeah. Well, and it's
just a
cocaine.
crap attitude and
He
cocaine.
thought, he thought there was more cocaine behind that door. So
He's just looking. He's looking behind every door at this point.
yeah.
How far away is
Just-
Mazatlan?
I have to get to Mazatlan International Airport.
Well, it's funny. Hold on one second. I'm pulling up this name because I want to make sure. Well, that's what I'm wondering if Ken maybe hit his drug hook up. I'm supposed to meet a guy named Ken from Mazatlan,
Oh, no. But he's dead.
but he's dead. So that's funny. He's got a whole closet full of cocaine and no
Did we even
food and a
explain? We didn't
candle.
even explain what happened to Ken. So
We haven't even gotten there yet.
I thought we did. Was that all in one scene?
No.
Okay.
Wait.
That was all
did
in
we
the
not?
scene where he shows up. Ken's a one scene act.
Oh, Ken is a one scene act.
So
Oh, you know what? You're right. I'm
basically-
sorry.
yeah,
I
so
got so
basically-
carried away with the Mazatlan International
Right.
Airport
So
joke.
Ken comes back, tries to get Melanie or Maggie, and Al Breyer comes back. The great Breyer comes back, and he's like, "Hey, I have a trick for you before you go."
Brilliant, by the way.
And what happens? He hands him a lit candle.
A lit candle and shoves him in a closet and
Yeah,
then
he's
closes
like back.
the door.
He's like back up
Mhm.
into the closet, and then he shuts the closet door, which locks.
But it opens sort of. It looks a little clumsy when he did it, but yeah.
Right, but so what closet locks from the outside?
What closet locks from the inside?
And then he's got a candle. Why does he have the candle? Was that just to keep his hands busy?
No, I think that's funny because he's a magician.
Well, no, because if you start to push me back into a closet and my hands are free, I'm going to shove you back.
What if the flame touches the clothes he has hung up in there? Now you've locked a man in a burning closet.
The death.
I don't understand
The death
that.
of Ken Breyer.
Poor Ken Breyer. And Phil's just
Oh.
like, where is this guy? That's why he's all like, "Arr."
Oh, Phil's going to go smoke the boat
Yeah.
as soon as Ken goes up in flames.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to make sure we highlighted that.
No, I'm
because
glad
that
you
was
did.
one of the more amazing 2 minutes of acting, and that whole scene was amazing.
So so again, Phil walks in, overreacts to a hug. Phil says, I offered you a job and you think my wife is one of the fringe benefits?
Oh,
Melody tells Phil that all he cares about is business. Gopher tells Phil, boy, people on this ship love to dole out some advice. I got to say
Gopher
that.
came in hot to Phil too.
Yeah. He was like, you're throwing away a terrific lady who loves you. Melody feels ignored. Gopher says Melody has tons of good ideas. Phil, in a shift, blames this whole problem on the male ego. What?
Can I get a
How did you
Can I get a
how did you
spotlight?
do that?
camera?
Did you do
Camera
that?
2, come in on me.
The male ego. Like what? Gopher tells him to make her the new manager of the new hotel. Phil says, I don't want to lose you. Smooch. Poor Gopher.
So Gopher realizes that he has to go get his job back, so he leaves those two in the cabin. So are they gonna bang in Gopher's cabin?
Yeah, Gopher leaves. That's what it is. Yeah, it's one of those weird. Ugh, poor Gopher.
My alternate version of this is that Gopher has not quit yet. He hasn't talked to Bobby Van, and Bobby Van walks in, sees everything that happened, wants to convince Gopher to stay with me, to take the job, right? And then he looks at Gopher's freshman film student dorm room decor, and he's like, you know what? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe this won't work out.
Yeah, this is a little simple in here. This is a little
yeah. We went to the same business school.
Yeah, he's like, you have posters, like that's cool. Yeah. That's cool.
Like you went to
Spencer's. What is
like
that?
you went to Spencer's Gifts before the boat left. Just pouring through that rack of big posters.
Oh, it's terrible. And of course, it's nothing that you couldn't just slap up in any room to make any room look like Gopher's room. So there's no like permanent structures. There's no.
I wonder if they're the same posters. We should go back and check an old episode. It wasn't like Charlie Chaplin.
Charlie Chaplin was up on one.
But I don't know if it was this one. You eagle-eyed listeners.
An eagle, yeah, please.
And we know you're out there. We had someone send in Doc's diploma.
We do, and we appreciate that level of detail.
Yeah, let us know if these posters are consistent. I think we saw Gopher's room a lot at the end of last season, probably because this was the same set. So
probably the same set. They're probably recorded a week apart too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Stubing's back at his desk. We knock on his door. It's Gopher. Stubing says he's sad to see him go. Offers to promote him to assistant purser. There's talk of a better room. Then he says, Phil told me what happened. It's good to have you back, Captain. 2-finger salute. No promotion, no new room. Nothing changes.
So I said this a lot in the Eve Plum episode, but I do like when these two have scenes like this. But I will say it did lose its luster a little bit because it's kind of the third time we've seen it. And if you think about when they probably shot this thing, it was probably the third time they shot it in 3 months. So a little derivative, but I do like the begrudging respect Stubing offers Gopher at some point.
Yeah, I get that. All right, let's wrap this thing up, Mike. Al and Maggie are leaving the ship together. Tells Julie where to find his brother locked in a closet, and he's laughing while he's saying it. Julie's like, what?
And Julie has no idea what he's talking about. And we have seen on this boat how infrequently people go check those rooms. Now, the only chance that Ken Breyer has to survive this is that the boat has docked and theoretically they clean out all the rooms. But it might already be too late.
He didn't have any water.
No, and to your point, I hadn't even thought about the fire hazards in 1979 clothes closets.
Yeah, but also, I guarantee you could bust through that door.
Well, here's another thing. Isn't Horshack's stuff in that closet? So did he abandon all his belongings, including probably a lot of his magic tricks?
A lot of stuff that said the Great Breyer on it.
Murder his brother. So.
That's it. It's perfect. He's going to murder his brother, and his brother has a lit candle, so he'll burn all of his clothes. It's the perfect crime, Mike. No one will know. Adjoining rooms. This whole thing was murder, so we could blame it on Maggie. We must have adjoining rooms. See?
Magic and murder.
Magic and murder. That's a good one. Phil and Melody say goodbye to Gopher. Phil is giving the manager job to Melody. And Gopher gives Melody a suggestion box. I hope we can put that joke to bed now.
Ugh.
Stupid suggestion box. Charlie's leaving the ship alone. Hetty meets Charlie as her furniture is being unloaded from the ship. She made her choice, and they leave the ship together. And we're out.
How much money do you think it costs to hire movers on short notice to take all your stuff off a boat? That's pretty expensive.
she called. I didn't see a ship to shore. Those are very complicated. Maybe Phil,
Good
like,
point.
hey, while you're on the phone, Phil,
Well, that's the
can
thing.
you?
Yeah, Bobby Van left the line open because he just passed out.
He's passed out, or he tried to snort the phone. Who knows? When he couldn't meet his hookup. And that's it, Mike. It is
Yeah. So I kind of said it earlier. Totals and recap. This was a weird episode in that it went very fast.
very fast. I agree.
Nothing really happened.
Mm-mm.
It was a perfectly harmless episode that I think we will absolutely forget about in like a month.
You know, this will be that episode when we see another bad one and be like, why couldn't we just have that harmless?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Like, it wasn't
nothing.
good. It was not
No,
good by any
no,
means,
it
but it
wasn't
didn't
good.
make me angry. It was
No, it didn't.
fun.
It didn't
There were
make
some
me angry.
fun things. Ken Breyer was fun.
It was a low energy episode.
Yeah,
You know what I
it
mean?
was.
It was just real. Didn't get you riled up. It was just sort of.
The only thing I'm going to remember about this is honestly that a woman tried to live on the boat, and that they killed Ken Breyer. Like, those are the two things I'm going to remember about this episode. But
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like
about it.
when we get to the stubbies and it's like, oh right, that one. What was the episode between this and that?
Just very vanilla.
Yeah, but it moved fast. It was harmless. It was a harmless episode. But I don't think it was the worst, and
No.
certainly wasn't the best.
Oh God, no. God, no.
So, but that's okay.
That's fine.
That's
We don't.
okay.
We don't need
No,
an Emmy award winning.
No, I will take a few middles.
It's fine. Just drive right down the middle of the road.
Rising tide lifts all boats.
That's right. I'm fine with it.
Captain of the week.
I'm gonna go with Al. How can you not?
Yeah.
Had some great tricks. Ended up with his brother's lady, sort of his lady, while leaving his brother locked in a closet on a cruise ship. Period. It's a great story.
No, and I do think at the very least, Ron Perillo or Palillo, whatever, Porshak did some magic tricks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was probably the best booked act that the princess has had.
Mm-hmm.
Was it better than Mitzi and Lenny?
Oh, I'm a big Mitzi and Lenny fan, though.
I know. But it was definitely better than Barry Keys. It was definitely better than the ventriloquists.
Well, none of those people got thrown into a pool, locked in a bag, and show up. So I have to agree. No one's doing that.
No. And murdered a guy.
I think that's like hitting for the cruise ship cycle, I believe. Magic act and murder and a new lady.
The Gordie Howe hat trick. Also, I assume now we still have like 9-10 episodes left this season.
Yeah.
This was really the first gopher centric one, and even that was like not. We've seen heavier gopher episodes.
Absolutely.
But if this was his Emmy episode, he was fine. It just wasn't as blatant as the other ones that we've seen.
I agree.
I thought he was good, but Frank Graney's always good. The problem with him and with Ted Lang is they just don't give him enough.
Yeah.
But it's never like they don't do a good job.
No, they never fumble. Like, they do a good job when they have something to do. But yeah, I do think they're sort of Ted Lang and he are sort of in the same boat.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Because again, it was like there no Doc this week.
No.
Like zero Doc. That's as low a Doc episode as we've seen.
Zero Doc. And not a whole lot from the captain.
No, not a whole lot from Julie either.
Quick things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it was actually very crew light, except for Gopher. So walk the plank.
Outside of the box on this one for me, I'm going to give this to the crew's treatment of Charlie and his 30 some odd years at sea.
Yeah. Do you think he was quiet quitting?
I don't know. Maybe if you're there, if you're somewhere for 30 years, you can quit and call it retiring. Wasn't retiring just quitting?
Ultimately. Like, I don't know. You getting a pension? Like, he didn't even get a cake.
He got nothing.
Yeah.
He got a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
Yay. It's real crappy, guys. Real crappy.
I agree. I'm gonna also mention Bobby Van. That was just weird. That was just a weird performance. Like you said, probably he had that Fred Travalina energy, but was probably a little substance fueled there. But like I said, I don't think he hit. Bobby Van was not a good enough actor to hit the nuance of what they were going for.
I was going to say that. Yeah, he
So,
lacked the chops of a Travalina.
Yes, definitely lacked the chops of a Travalina. Who knew? Who knew? Sorry, Bobby Van, and we will not be seeing Bobby Van anymore. So, one and done for the Van.
Bobby Van.
And that's totals and a recap for this week.
All right, let's check the old mailbag real quick.
Oh.
This is legit. I don't know if we have mail. No new mail. Plugs, Mike. Anything to plug?
I'd like to plug the beautiful Mazatlan International Airport, now featuring flights from Mazatlan to Los Angeles every hour.
Like they need your help. They're making weekly money, Mike. Come on.
They will definitely get you out of a country you need to escape quickly.
Paper tickets only. No digital tickets.
Can you imagine Ken Breyer shows up, buys a ticket for somebody else the same day?
If there's even a ticket in there, it's probably a tissue. He's like, it's my brother. What's he going to do? Gives him the envelope that he just used when he flew in and put the tissue in it. He's like, here's your ticket. But ironically, Mazatlan International, they accept tissues as tickets. So
that's true. That's true. R.I.P. Ken.
Anything else to plug, Mike?
Absolutely Hammered. Every week on the Hidden Season Patreon, so we talk about similar nonsense to this. So tune in and enjoy.
Fantastic. You can find us everywhere you find your audio podcast: iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, Amazon Music, Podchaser, Player FM, and as always, my favorite, Deezer. Please hit that subscribe button and leave a review. You can also watch our video podcast on YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and leave a review. You can see us on Instagram, on Facebook. Look for weekly reels and updates. Episode 41 coming up, Mike. Have you looked ahead by chance?
The only thing I know is I think it's an Isaac Emmy episode contender. I think that's the only thing I know.
I did look ahead.
Okay. Now, don't forget, this is also going to be our Christmas episode. So
that's right.
What do we got?
That's right. 'Tis the season. We meet a charming widower. Well, let me hold on. Nothing says Christmas like this storyline. I forgot to add the tag there. We meet a charming widower and his son who fall in love with the same girl.
Oh, no.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
No. Well, to be fair, we didn't know.
No.
We didn't know what this was going to be. And this is Aaron Spelling's fault. We asked for a Christmas episode. They didn't give us one. So we decided we're going to have whatever the closest one that we do to Christmas is. And if it means that a dad and a son are going to try and bang the same woman, then that's what it's going to be.
Well, not just a dad and a son, a dad whose wife died and his son whose mom died are now going after the same person.
What if it's Gary Collins and the kid with the teeth?
Gary Collins is so likable. You know what I mean? What am I going to do? What if it's the other Bayo kid again?
Did you happen to see who's in it? Is anybody in it?
Didn't even look. Didn't even look.
Suspense. You'll all have to tune in and find out.
So,
but I can promise you this. There will be a Santa hat. And luckily, we are not recording these in the summer.
No, thank God. Because the air conditioning's too loud. Yeah, big Christmas spectacular coming next episode.
And then after that, our last episode of calendar year 2024 is a two-parter. And I do know that one includes Julie's high school reunion.
Ooh.
And a drunk, bitter Raymond Burr.
Really?
So we got a lot going for the last couple episodes of 2024 here.
Didn't she go to high school with Potsy? Wasn't that the thing where she was the younger?
She was younger. Yeah.
That's right. Well, I look forward to that. Anything else before we go, sir?
No, I think that's it. I have to go let Ken out of the closet. So
Yeah. Good luck. You see that nicely dressed skeleton in there. Burned to a crisp.
and a bird on his head.
And a bird. And a bird and a bunny. All the outfits with birds everywhere. He has plenty to eat. Well, thanks for joining us. Until next time, we will see you then. Thanks for listening.